Good morning, afternoon and evening, my crazies. My name's Angela, I'm the Crazy Poppy Lady, and welcome back to today's Whips, Bits and Chat. Come on, let's go and see what I got for you today. Right, so as a normal, first thing we do is a video, a catch up. So for this one, let's see how many videos I managed to get out this week. Let's start on Monday. Now Monday I surprised you. Proper, good and proper. I surprised you with a surprise live. And it was questioned, who is it about? Now that one of course was on the Monday the 27th. A link will be up here. It was lovely actually. We had a good few girls in it. Yeah, it was only girls actually. Good few girls in, and I even gave away a couple of winner only patterns. Yeah, back crazy me and back crazy, but there we go. And then we come on to the other videos that were released this week. Right, so the next lot of videos that were put out was the first one actually was a yarn review, and it was Lion Brand's homespun stripes. Now that is a colourway that no longer exists, but I know that they do the same yarn, wibbly wobbly yarn in a different ball structure basically to what I got my hands on. It's easier to get if you're over in America. Go figure. Okay, the next video up was the little bowl of happiness. That's a really short video. It's about 8 minutes long, if not even that actually, because I couldn't get ads on it, so it's under 8 minutes. So that was little bowl of happiness. If you want to be nosy on that one, that's up there. Then we had the book review, and it was Crochet Little Heroes. It's a really cute little book, don't get me wrong. The patterns in there aren't really for me. I'm just going to leave it at that, but have a nose if you haven't had a chance. They've got a proper mixture of little heroes in there. And then the last one was of course the Throwback Friday. Yep, you got a throwback this week. Next week, don't panic, you have got a dyeing video coming up. Yeah, actually keep an eye out on Thursday. That video is fun and that'll make you giggle, and then it leads on to Friday's video. So it's up to you if you want to do them back to back on Friday or not. But remember, Friday's a fun day and dye day video is also a preview, so it means we can chat along while the video's being aired for the first time. So if you're able to, book your seat. Okay, the notification for it will be on the channel's main page. Right, so let's get on with the other stuff, shall we? So what's been going on in the life of Poppy this week? Birds, 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 birds. They're floating around my head like someone's bashing me over the noggin. Now the video set is nearly done. Okay, really close to being finished, which means then that the written pattern that I've been shutting myself away for the last 2 days to try and do, and I realised I mucked it up. Not the first square, not the square that's been recorded, but future squares if you were making the blanket. It was back to front, upside down and ran the wrong way. Can you work that one out? Because I couldn't until yesterday morning. I looked at it and went, oh, the write up that I had that isn't the one that you guys will hear, or the one that's going in the pattern. Confused, I know I am. I looked at it and went, you dopey woman, it's that write up, because I had 3 of them printed out. It was like, write up number 2, but instead of reading it as I would normally do from left to right, I realised that the box counts needed to be from right to left. So I did the whole pattern backwards, and Bestie phoned me. She went, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm enjoying this written pattern." She said, "I thought you hated that pattern. You've undone it 3 times." I'm like, "Yeah, but now I've worked it out. I'm doing it as I'm doing it with my dyslexic brain. I am speeding through this pattern." And she was giggling away. She's like, "Do you want me to leave?" I said, "No, I don't need to concentrate now. I'm reading this page as my brain lets me." I said, rather than having to fight against it. And so she was having a good giggle. If you were on the Facebook page, I did put up a little short, so nothing major, just a little one, and I'm going to stick that one and another one that nobody else has seen up now. Revised pattern number 2. Yeah, guess who's doing it upside down now? It's okay, I've worked it, I think. Let's undo and go again. So in regards to a little bird, I am now on block 4, sorry, of the pattern, which is a stripes, a row. Sorry, for those of you that don't know, this is little bird. That is block number 1, and there's a block number 2. Yes, it looks strange. This is actually going to be my cushion cover, but I mucked it up. So my fold is actually going to be at the top, not the bottom, but shh, we don't tell people I've mucked up. Actually, I do. I tell you all the time when I've mucked up one of these patterns as I'm making them. The written patterns have the corrections on, and then the second time I make it, that's when I test out the pattern. But you're okay, don't panic. The bird pattern will be fine once it's done. So at the moment, I have made 3 little birds. Yeah, 3 little birds and 2 stripes from the yarn that's stated on the first tutorial, which you guys haven't seen yet. And I've just run out of the baby blue, so I came in here to have a nose. I've pulled out all my shelves, so if you've noticed that this block and this block over here looks slightly different, that's because I pulled them all off and resorted it, trying to find the blue that I needed. Didn't have any. I had no choice but to break my yarn ban, so I ordered 1 ball from the Secret Yarn Stash. 1 ball. Okay, I put in some other bits and pieces, but you don't need to see that because that's not for me, that's for something else and someone else. So I've brought 1 ball of yarn just to finish this pattern up because my math was off. So now I've got to wait probably till Monday for the order to come through. You never know, I might be lucky because I sneak the order in before midday, so before the postie collects. And I was sneaked in, so it depends on how she's feeling, because she's not been too good because she broke her wrist, but she's just getting back on track. So it just depends on when she gets to my order as to whether it gets out tonight and whether the postman loved me enough to speed it through to me for tomorrow, which is Saturday for me, whereas this video is out on Sunday, so fingers crossed it'll arrive Saturday just gone or Monday tomorrow. Then I can carry on going. I can finish off the stripe section and do the border. So today my challenge is to sew in all the ends. Stop laughing, it's not funny. Anyone that knows me well enough knows I hate the sewing in the ends section. If I can get away with not doing it on a sample pattern, I will. Max still has his ends out, the tiger still has his ends out. Pretty much most of my patterns that I blankets that I show you still have their ends without, like, unsewn. Only certain items like this one here, this one had its ends sewn in as I went along because I knew I was going to wear it. So that one's in. There's a top underneath that one. Hasn't had it sewn in either. And socks, yeah, I just poke the ends inside. Nobody has to know. Now for this last 2 weeks, my beautiful husband has been doing all the food shopping if we had to get anything from Aldi. Yeah, Aldi had had their yarn event. And he was like, no, I'm helping you here. You've put yourself on a yarn ban. So I will remove all temptation for yarn. And I said, okay, darling. So he's been going off and doing the food shopping. Now, I'd actually seen something in the yarn event, like during the video, that I wanted to get my hands on, which wasn't yarn. So I'm not breaking any rules here, am I, on this shop your stash thing that I'm sort of doing, right? And I managed to get onto one of these food shopping trips. Normally I hide from doing the household shopping if I can, but this time round I didn't. We went in and he was blocking my way for those aisles, because the aisle where the wall was at that point, it was, the baby stuff was opposite, so it's an aisle we normally avoid because it's got naughty treats in it, or it's got the baby items, or it's got the yarn. So there's nothing really in those bins normally that we would look at. And so he would go, oh, we don't need that row, and he'd walk us down. And as I'm walking down, I've looked over the top and I've spotted where it is, and I go to walk back up and he grabs my hand. He says, I love you, honey, and holds on to my hand. You know, the trick they do to stop us spending money. Well, in the end I said to him, look, darling, I don't actually want to buy yarn. I want to see what they've got, see whether I need to make an extra video compared to what I've already put out. And he said, oh, okay then. So I had a look, and to be honest, there wasn't a great deal in that particular Aldi that I hadn't already shown you. I'd shown you everything that they had, but yeah, I was naughty. I picked up some fat quarters, and these are the Marvel ones, and it actually comes with a written pattern for a bag. Now this is where I'm slightly insane. Okay, I've got a sewing machine. I've actually got two. I've got an electric one that I must have had for, I think my mum bought it for my 26th birthday. So it's 14 years old, 15 years old, I can't remember how old I am. But yeah, I've had it a really long time, and I think in total I made some table runners, some table mats, and I've made 2 fancy dress costumes for the kids on it, and 1 school uniform dress. And I realised very early on that my sewing machine skills are really quite bad, or at least they were back then anyway. I made a school dress for my daughter because she was taller than everybody else in her class, and if I went and bought her school uniform dress when she was in infants, she needed a junior size. So basically she was 4 years old, she needed a dress for a 9-year-old, and by this point the shops in the UK start putting shape into the dresses and tailoring them in at the waist, which didn't work for her, because then that meant for it to fit her in as a decent length, she would have needed a pinafore dress for a 13-year-old at the age of 4, because she's really tall. And I couldn't find one. I could not get one to fit her, and I would have had to have paid an exorbitant amount to have it specially made. So I made it myself. I got some grey material because I could get away with making her a grey pinafore. I got a pattern and I made it. Now the shoulders, everything looked really good. I'd even managed to put darts in where they were meant to be darted and all this sort of stuff, and it looked really cool. And I used a machine and it all got sewed up. Broke probably 2 needles, don't ask me how, but I managed it. I'd managed to get a zip in there as well, and I put this zip in following the instructions on the pattern, of course. The only thing left to do was the seam around the bottom, and I ran out of cotton. So the following morning she was meant to be going to school, so I got what's called Wonder Web, which is like this thin mesh stuff, and you lay it between 2 pieces of material, and then you run the iron over it on a hot, and it sucks it all together, so it like glues it together. My husband's like, yeah, use Wonder Web, I've used it in the past for my stuff. And I'm like, right, okay. I got a phone call halfway through the school day basically saying, hi, your daughter's dress is falling apart. I said, what, the top or the bottom? They went, no, the bottom, the wonder web's come off. So I'm like, right, okay, don't panic, just pin it up for now and I'll fix it when she gets home. And they were like, good attempt though. I was like, thanks. So that was that attempt. And then I made two of that same style pinafore dress, but I made them for a fancy dress, and it was a 1980s. And so I'd managed to get hold of this sequin material, and I just made the dress shorter because it was a pinafore style, and that's what they were wearing, that style back then. So I managed to make up these two dresses, but they had sequins in, and that's where I completely destroyed my machine. I think, to be honest, I just need to take it and get it serviced, and then work out how to use it again, because it's been over 10 years. I've been moving it with us, but it's been over 10 years since it got used. But yeah, as I said, I've bought this because it has got a bag pattern in there, and I really want to have a go at making a bag. And it would be really cool because I do like Marvel, and it's got some cool characters on there. I won't mention them. We know, if you're into Marvel, you know who they are. Yeah, so at some point, probably next year, because we all know what I'm like, I buy something, I have an idea, it sits on the shelf and it waits for a year. So that'll probably be next year sometime. Got to get this finished first, and the other 15 other patterns I've got in my head for you guys for this year. Yeah, but as I was saying, I bought it and I've put it on the conveyor belt in a separate from my husband, and my husband went to put it in with the food bill. I said, no, that goes in my own thing. And he's like, why? I said, because as soon as we get to the till, if you will turn around and say she doesn't actually want this and I've got no say in it. And he was like, oh, you know my tricks, because he's done that before. He's gone, oh, put that back, the wife don't want it now. And I'm like, but I do. So yeah, paid for it myself. It went in my pocket and I came home and hid it. Right, so I told you I had two sewing machines, but I only told you about my electric. My other one is a little mini Singer. It's a handheld, very sort of early 1900s, in its original case, so I don't like to get it out because I don't want it to get dusty. But I may show it to you at some point when I remember which part of the cupboard I put it in that this table's blocking, whether it's I've got to crawl under the table or over the table to get to it, because I've put it in that cupboard for safekeeping, and I can't quite remember where, but it's beautiful. Right, so I have actually got another pattern that's sort of on the hook but hasn't been played with for the past few days, but I will get back to it once the little bird is done. Well, the ends are sewn in, and then I'll get on with this one, and then I can go back to the little bird. The reason I stopped was because I overdid it one night. 6 solid hours, no stopping, no stretching, no breaks, and I pulled the muscle in my shoulder again. So of course I had to have a day off, which is why I went on to the little bird, because it forced me to stop at the end of each row to record. So that's why I moved on to that. Otherwise this pattern would have been done by now. Now, as I said earlier on, I'm shopping my stash, so I've got a little bit of an issue when it came to choosing the yarn for this pattern. I've gone a bit doolally. I chose to use a So Crafty and Knit and Purl a DK yarn 10 pack in cool neutral colours. There is 50 balls in 5 colours. So let me hold that upside down so I don't ruin anything. There we go. That is the colourway that I'm playing with. Strange. I like to do things quite simple, quite plain colouring normally. Not too many colour changes, unless that's what the yarn cake is. If it's got colour changes in it, I normally let it play for the most part. Right, so the pattern I am actually doing of our gorgeous Ursula's is the Beautiful Friend shawl. In total, she says that you need about 1,000 meters. hopefully I got my math correct. If not, I'll have to take some more off the shelf. But worst case scenario is, what colour have I got that might match? None of them. So it'll be white. If I muck it up, the edge is white. It's that simple. But this is as far as I have got. Not very far. But it is in a DK weight. It is not in the what is it? I think she was using a one weight. Sorry, I haven't got the pattern up purposely so I don't read everything in it. Yeah, so this is how it's looking at the moment. Slightly crazy on the colours. But I am going to attempt to colour control it slightly so that each of these sections are probably going to be the same width, if I can. How many rows am I on? I don't know, because I haven't finished the first repeat. But that'll now give me a kick up the bottom to carry on going with it. And hopefully when it's done, you guys will see it and like it and go and grab the pattern as well. She has the pattern available over on her Ravelry. I believe it's Ravelry. And she may have the tutorial out as well on her channel. I'm not 100% sure on that yet, because of course I'm using a link off of the pattern. But it's really lovely. It's really easy to follow along with, and it's one that I think pretty much anyone will be able to do. And what do you need to know? Yeah, you just need to know double crochet and chain, and that's it for this entire shawl. It's just the order she puts them in. But of course you'll get more information on that if you purchase a pattern, or of course watch the video while you're making it. I was actually making it whilst watching the telly. I barely had to look at the work I was doing. So yay, I just got to get it finished now. So that's going to be the end of the month. We all know this, don't we? End of the month challenge. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for me for this week. I can't think of what else I've been up to. My brain cell has shut down. So I'm going to now say goodbye to you all, and I will see you again really soon, really soon. So please remember to stay chilled, stay happy, and keep crafting. Goodbye everybody.